time to start with the presentation. Thank you very much to everybody for coming, for your time, for attending the session. I wish you enjoy, have a bit of fun, and of course, bring some value from this talk. The talk is about the module called Module Builder and why it should be in your development toolkit. So let me introduce myself. My name is Alvaro. I'm proud daddy of Estela and Daniel and husband of Ines, my wife. I'm backend people lead at factorial.io. We are doing some sessions in these Drupal Dev Days. Feel free to open our open positions. And I'm also on the board of the Spanish Drupal Association for a while, maybe 10 years or so. I don't actually remember. Just a disclaimer. I'm not the maintainer of this module. This talk is supposed to be done by Joachim. You probably already know him, but he couldn't attend, and then he just asks for help. So I told him, OK, I can prepare something. Yeah, do the presentation for you. So please don't ask super complex questions, because probably I don't have the right answer. I'm just an ambitious user. Now this word is on fashion on Drupal, and an ambitious user, but I'm not the maintainer, and I don't know exactly what are the feature plans. I'd like to collaborate in the maintenance, but yeah, if you have hard questions, Joaquin is your person. OK, let's think a bit. What is this module for? First, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Please raise your hands who uses Drush Generate or Drupal console regularly. Yeah, a lot of people. And who has already used Module Builder in Drupal 7, 8, 9, 10? Yeah, a few people. OK, maybe some feedback is appreciated. So this module is to generate code. As we usually use other methods like Drush Generate or Drush console, this is also a code generator. But on my eyes, it goes one step forward, because it doesn't need to create the generators. We'll see an example afterwards. And it's also using a really cool UI. It's a Drupal-style UI, so everybody can use it out of the box. And yeah, and we'll see. It has a lot of things that really help us to generate the code. So first things first, we need to install the module as usual, and then we'll find this new entry under the administration, configuration, development. I'll share my slides right after this talk. So you can find on my Twitter account. You can find my Twitter account at the end. And then how it works. What's the main difference? The main difference is the first thing this module needs to do is analyze all your code. When you go to the administration panel, you have this tab, Analyze Code, and then you need to click this button about Update all the code analyses. And after that, the module knows everything about your whole code base. This is the main difference, because it scans everything you have on your Drupal site. So it knows all the hooks you have declared, all the plugin types, admin routes, services, and so on and so on. And this is super useful, because if you have already created some fields, then this module already knows, because it scans all your code. It creates kind of database on the Drupal file system under sites default, if you are on default files. It's encoded JSON strings, so you can easily check how it's working. And it has all the information about your site. After doing this code analysis, you need to run your code analysis before you do anything else. Otherwise, you won't find the last things you have done. And then, when you have done your analysis, you can start creating your modules. The modules are config entities in database, so you can back to the module you have created. and you can add more things and regenerate every time you need. So, for example, I'm doing this demo with screenshots because I don't trust my laptop, my connection, everything. So I have a lot of screenshots. So you can regenerate your module. The first things you have to do is put all the info file information. This first form is to fill your info file information. And after that, you have a lot of options. You have those tabs. The MISC tab is for everything doesn't fit in the other ones. So for example, if you click on the hooks, you have all the hooks you have declared on your Drupal site, even if it's on a custom module. So if you create a hook, it will be here. You have your browser to filter about the hooks, because I don't know if it's your case. In my case, sometimes I need to seek what the hook I really need, because there are so many that are similar, and some of them are more specific than others. So thanks to this browser, you can easily filter for the hooks and then find the one you are really looking for. And then you have also a link to the official documentation. So yeah, you have all the information really near to your hand. And that's, in my eyes, that's super useful. But that's only the hooks tab. All the tabs has little surprises. So for example, let's do a real example. Let's create a plugin type and then a plugin. So what happens if I need to declare my own plugin? For example, I'm maintaining a module called AutoTagger that works as a framework to let content to be automatically tagged. And what I did is create a plugin type. So everybody can create a plugin of this AutoTagger and create conditions and variations of how you automatically tag the content. So that would help me to create this plugin type. So I can create a plugin type. I can decide if it's on annotation or YAMLs. Same things we do usually with code, but with this fancy UI. And then we create all these plugin type IDs, so everything we should put on our notations and everything. And also the hooks will be there. So we can save, and then we can go to the Generate Code tab. Here is when everything comes across to reality, to our real module. So we have this preview window on the right side, and we can check all the things that this module is going to read for us. For example, this is checking the plugin type code, super small. It's the YAML, but you can check every single file that will be written on your code, and you can write selected files. So just keep in mind, maybe you are creating your module and then you write everything to code, and you need to create more things. In order to avoid conflicts, sometimes it's super useful if you create a new file, just write that file. The module controls if you have conflicts, what's the status. If in this case, everything is new because I have just created a module from scratch. But on the next samples, we'll see what happens when you save your module and then create new stuff. You have your status there, so you will know if something is overridden it will be overridden by the module, or it's new, or it's going to be deleted. You can also delete stuff. So you have also these options on this browser to write only the selected files, or write all the new files, or everything. So after that, all the stuff will be written on your modules custom, and then the module name. So you already have your module, okay? It's super important to have a Git repository initialized. It's not needed to be on your custom module. It can be global for the whole website, but you need something to warn you if you are going to overwrite something and break something, because it relies on Git status. So you need to initialize a repository. And my advice, after writing files, do a commit. Okay, so you can easily see if something else changes, you are removing code maybe, so you need to add a commit, and also the git command with the -p option in order to do only partial commits or adding to the stage. It's super useful in this case. So now we have our module. We have a new plugin type. So now it's when the answer for this talk is coming. So why it should be on your development toolkit. Now I have the module, I have the plugin type. Do you think that I can generate a new plugin of this type with Drush generate, for example? I didn't know last week, to be honest. I did the test. And the answer is, if I update the module, I enable the module and then update the code analysis, I do have my plugin type here. And now I want to create a plugin of this plugin type. But if I try to do it with Drush generate, I can find the list. I can find that this is not in the list. So I cannot create a plugin of this type. The reason why I cannot do that is because other generators, not only Drush generate, need this extra class, need to create a generator. This is as an example. So as I can create a migrate destination, I think was the example. As I can create a migrate destination, here is the migrate destination generator. So if I don't have this generator in my code, I cannot use Drush generate to generate plugins. But on the other hand, with Module Builder, I can. So if I go to my UI and then try to create a new plugin, I can select my plugin type to create the plugin. So out of the box, I already can generate things of my plugin type. This is just an example, okay? There are many more examples of things that Module Builder can do and other generators just cannot. So I can create my plugin type. This is super useful because you create I already have my plugin type. I'm creating an instance of this plugin. So I put my plugin ID, and then it automatically creates, as usual, the class name, and I can inject the services just with this autocomplete stuff. I can put a list of services to inject separated by comma. So I type a comma and then start typing. And then it automatically finds my service and creates the dependency injection for me. And then it's super easy also to create a deriver. Also, if I'm inheriting another for another plugin, find my parent plugin, and then maybe I need to replace. So it generates all that code for me on a fancy UI, and you can go back. So one of the problems, I'm a hard user of the console, but sometimes you need to go back. And if you are using a form, you don't need to go back. You can use your mouse or your tabs and go to the previous step and modify things. So in my eyes, in this case, UI makes sense. And voila, here we have our new plugin ready to be generated and written in code. So that's so easy. And this is just the first step of the second one. Just as this is a short talk, we only have 25 minutes. This is a summary of everything this module can do for us. Okay, so let's take some of the list. For example, we want to create a unit test. This is also my eyes super useful. This is why I bring to the top of the list. We want to create a test on our module. So what test type are we trying to create? A browser test, a JavaScript test, kernel test, unit test. So we can select and also, of course, create our test name. And then we can select what services are we going to use directly from the Drupal container. So want to be mocked. It's usually the service we want to test. And then we can also write here what services we want to mock. It's also super useful because, yeah, you know, it's sometimes creating the mocks is always the same thing, one after another. But yeah, it's work you don't need to do if you have this module. You say, okay, I want to mock the database, I want to mock the entity query, anything you need to mock in order to bring your entities with the data you want without all the database and everything. And then it creates the mocks for you. Then you just need to write your mock returns and you have everything. Also the traits. Sometimes we need the traits, so we just need to check what traits we need. If you write your own trait and it's on your code base after running an analysis, it will be here. Because when you are creating the test, sometimes you summarize a lot of things on your custom trait. And yeah, it will be on this list just to be included on your test if you create a new trait. Okay. Yeah. Just to finish our super serious. I don't know if you are focused on the presentation or you are just bored. So let's do something. Honestly, I don't have all the all the use cases because I thought I would be a bit slower during my presentation. So can you try something? How open are you for collaborate? Are you open? Somebody's not? If somebody's not, there's no problem. So I'm going to name all the items on this list. And then when I put my arm down, if you can clap or say something like, hey, or something like that, if you could do that, it would be great. OK? Somebody doesn't want to do that? OK. So what module builder can do? So let's do a test. When I do this with my arm put back, then you clap or tap your desk, something. OK, what module builder? Let's do a test. OK, now people who is still asleep, wake up. OK, another test. Perfect. OK, so what module builder can do for us? Can create PHP unit test. Can create entities. Content entities, config entities, forms and routes, forms, routes, dynamic route providers, admin settings forms, MISC, services, permissions, Drush commands, and many, many more. Paella, no. Paella. I'm going to be super honest. Module builder cannot make paella for you. I'm super sorry. Important tip, when you are coming to Spain, I'm from Spain, if you ask for paella and somebody serves that thing for you, that's not paella. Please don't let Spanish people scam you with paella. That's not paella. Cool. The module cannot make paella, but I'm going to recommend you a couple things. Install the module and explore by yourself. I was super surprised first time I used this module. Check this article by Joachim on his blog post, because I think it explains the context of the module, why this module is created and is not part of Drush generate and everything. And also check the issue queue, because it's a super complex module and you can find some bugs. Some of them have already patches. Patches are welcome. And yeah, now if you have any question, please take in mind, as Homer said, it's my first day, so I'm not the module maintainer. Also my first talk on a Drupal Dev Days. So if you have any question, feel free to. One question.
Hi, thank you for your session. It was really nice. I have a question about what do you think about use this module for junior developers? This will be a good idea or not?
For junior developers, It depends. They won't learn too much. That was Fran Garcia Linares, one mate from Spain working on the Drupal Association, said me exactly that. Hey, don't bring this to the junior developers so they won't learn. But yeah, this makes you super productive. More productive if you are a junior developer. So yeah, I think I like junior developers. I'm backend people lead in Factorial, so somehow I have some control about how things are done in Factorial, not too much, because we have a pro lead that actually decides that. But my recommendation is, yes, why not? They have a tool that will make them much more productive. But of course, please check the code, understand what you are doing. But I think that for juniors could be also a good option, because they will maybe not go into the wall as we have done when creating things and then forget one of the lines of the annotation and then nothing works and then you get frustrated. This will save them most of this frustration because things will work on the first attempt and then they can modify, break things. So I think it's not so bad idea to allow, or not allow, because yeah, to encourage junior developers to use these kind of generators. But that's only my opinion. That everybody has could have a different opinion on that.
Thank you for your talk. So the question is, this module, is it supposed to be enabled on the production, or you just, that's it, it's only in the development time?
Thank you for your question. This module writes on codebase, so please don't keep it enabled on your on production side. Thanks for the question, because I said nothing about that. So yeah, it doesn't need any extra permission to work out of the box. I set up with ddef, and it was just composer required, and then enable the module, and was everything working. But yes, as Devel, as all these modules we use only for development, it's not recommended. You can, what we do in Factorial is we have a piece of code, an array of disabled modules in the settings PHP. So we don't need this config split stuff only for these kind of things. So it's easy to keep all these modules disabled in production environments. So yeah, Joachim's recommendation is please do not enable in production environments. So thanks for your question.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to ask something you already answered. So it's what about how you're using on the local development. You enable it first, then disable it. There's going to be any configuration, not push to production. But yeah, as you said, you're doing this.
Okay, thank you anyway for your question. Okay, anything else?
Hello, thanks. I just want to ask, is it easier to extend it to build a theme? Because for us, it seems a lot of clients might want to customize the theme a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't try this, to be honest. I have seen you can implement your theme hooks on the MISC tab. There is a specific area for theming. I didn't test it, to be super honest. So I can just ask you to ask Joachim. So that was my last slide. That difficult questions, ask Joachim, because I'm not the maintainer. I'm just a user of the module. So I know in the MISC section you have this theme box to do things, but I didn't test them. So I'm super sorry I cannot answer your question. Anything else? Yes, 2 more questions.
So does Module Builder work with extending existing modules, or is it only for building a new module?
Yeah, that's a good question. I asked Joachim about that, and at the moment, the module cannot import an already existing module. The trick for that is if the module is super big already, you can create a module with the same name and be super careful with the stuff you will write. So you can create a module with the same name, it will complain. It will show you a big red message the first time you create a module, and then create more things for that. But you don't have everything imported in the config entity, because remember that every module we have created here with this is a config entity. It could be great to somehow be able to export, so everybody in the team has the same config entity. So it's possible. You can also ignore with config ignore. But yeah, for existing modules, you need kind of workaround. Yeah, but it's a good question. I also asked Joaquin about that. Yeah. And Jose.
Hello, thanks for your presentation. I'm really surprised because of this module. My question is, are you able to do all these great things by using Rust? Just to imagining, I would like to build a script with generating stuff. So instead of using the UI as you have shown, are we able to do that by Rust commands or
No.
any plans for that?
As far as I know, yeah, one of the sections of the MISC is creating your own Rust commands. But as far as I know, maybe I'm surprised about that. But as far as I know, it's only UI. But please don't take it as set in stone, because I couldn't find them, but probably are there. But I didn't see them during my research. So I'd say 80% no. But yeah. Okay, so we are almost over time. So thanks a lot for your time, your attention. I really wish you'll take something for this talk. For difficult questions, ask Joaquin. For easy topics, anything else, you can find me around. You can find me on Twitter. So thank you very much and have a nice day. Thank you.